siblings, then am I doing that? I actually ask this question all the time as well.
Yeah, that's very important. And what I'm sensing here is like, yes, work is a huge part of our life, but why are we working? It's for what goodness?
Yes.
Yeah, like what you mentioned is like, I work because for your case, you want to spend time with your siblings and you want to spend time with your mother, right? And you didn't have a chance to spend time with your dad in the past, and she passed away recently as well. Having all this being said, and I've also seen a lot of people, including myself in the past, working for the name of saying that I want to spend time with my children, for the name. That it is just a declaration that is not so true. Sometimes I also find myself replacing my fun time with my children with work. That's because like, oh, more urgent, oh, more prioritized, oh, someone asked me to do that, right? I needed to get this thing out. And how much are we governing that, space to allow us to be able to stick true to the purpose when we are working.
Yeah.
And that is the reasons why it motivates us and propel us forward.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I coach and come and tell me, they say that, Charlene, I don't have motivation. Charlene, I do not know how to do this. Charlene, I do not know how to do that. And Charlene, I got sick and tired of this work. What can I do? Right? And it boils down to that objective of changing a job even, for example. Or should you stay? If you stay, what else can you do? Yeah. And if you change, can you guarantee things that happen in these organizations will not go back to the next organizations?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So it's heartwarming to hear that from you, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have not had such conversations for a very long time in terms of getting in touch back with that purpose. I'm not seeing that in you.
Yeah.
How do you feel right now? Sharing that.
I feel it's a really emotional moment, honestly, because I literally forgot about that in the past 6 months and one whole year. And you can see I even give up the dance to the point that I was asking myself, what the F I'm doing here? But after I start to connect back to myself, that I realized that, there is something more important. I cannot just use work. This is work. And I surround everything around that. But it's my life. And then work is actually part of that only.
It's work and work and outside work kind of thing. To be a little bit less workaholic. And what is a non-workaholic side of you that is actually allowing yourself to enjoy even a small conversations like this.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Because there's a lot of things we can learn from conversing with people.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
And share with me a little bit more. Having this sense of purpose, why you're working, what's next in your work currently that you would like to get into, change, new things, improvement? How do you bring this sense of purpose into integrating into what you do on a daily basis?
So in terms of work, as mentioned, I'm building the team. So I do actually want to start to set up some onboarding process in place. So traditionally, 1690 is just talking about, what do you need to learn, whatever. But I would like to bring in some what we talk is a consciousness element inside. So apart from achieving your work, what exactly are you learning as a person along the way in those 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? One thing I noticed I really want to emphasize a lot is in terms of ownership and responsibility. Because people, they come to work a lot of time is, again, back to the same thing. I want to earn the money or my boss asked me to do that. But they forget why they need to do that in the first place. So the ownership become really important. So we have the purpose or the objective, and then you cannot just say, that's it, and then hang in there to be nice, and then you forget your responsibility and ownership. So you need to own the whole thing. I need to support this.
So how do you make them support? Because you mentioned that the key phrase I caught on just now. How do I, what have I learned about myself? So this is a key phrase you mentioned. On top of there's a sales methodology. I do step 1, step 2, step 3. I should get a client. I should get a client when I complete the step 10 step. However, a lot of people complete it without knowing what are they doing. And they go like, where's the client gone to? Where am I? What am I doing? Who am I?
Yes.
Yeah, so I see that this is very important. What have I learned about myself in every single step?
Yes.
One of my clients, she says that it's a post-mortem. Yeah, post-mortem means we review what happened and then we make adjustment, which is the how. The steps can be fixed, right? Go and cold call clients. How hard is that? Some people go like, should I call today? Should I call tomorrow? Maybe I call next week. Maybe the client is on leave. Yeah, I don't need to call the client. He's on leave. And then I go like, oh my God, he's back next week. Should I call? Should I not call? It's like, wow, let's get it, you know?
Yes.
So there's a part of you that needs to fix first.
Yes.
Yeah. So I see that, you know, what have I learned about myself is the part that got you into inner inquiry.
Yes.
Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So you kind of put something around the sales process that is like something solid to support that.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about implementing that support?
First, I would like to maybe first is definitely as a manager there, I will be there like every week. Definitely is a one-on-one. So my one-on-one is a bit special. Instead of talking about sales target, I will always ask, how are you doing? What is happening in your life? And what you like about this?
Sales managers, if you have a team, this is a trick to learn. In case you're wondering, seriously, and I've heard so many sales managers and saying that, hey, my team is not working, they are not collaborating together. No matter how much I talk hard, they just don't want to go out and get a number. And then maybe I need to give them time. But honestly speaking, do you think you can wait for the time to come? I know that there is a quarterly sales target, half-yearly sales target, and also yearly sales target for most of the organizations. And you're having the challenge in terms of like getting your team to move. I would like you to really listen to Lucy here because I knew a backstory I'm going to share later on that keeps people moving. Really, really inspiring one. So let's have Lucy to share, you know, how, as a team leader, how do you move people?
So, first, be myself. I need to achieve my target, or at least I do the thing I'm doing.
Yes.
Secondly is actually every week I have one-on-one session with the team. The first thing I always check is how are you doing? How's your week? What did you learn last week? I noticed that is barely being asked generally. I need to let them to reflect, a bit similar to what your client I just mentioned, reflect on what they learned last week, what is not doing, what is good and what can be improved. And after that, okay, what can you bring toward this work and you can do the thing. And then we'll start to planning. Numbers eventually, of course, I still need to take into account, but it will come in eventually. But the first thing is I need to understand the motive behind the sales rep.
The motive behind the sales rep. And the motive behind the sales rep, the way that she's doing it is very similar to what I'm doing in coaching. Get the client to reflect what has happened, what is a good thing that happens, what needs to be improved, what can you actually bring forward. Yeah, that's also one of the very important steps. So bringing forward helps people to bring the experience forward.
Yeah.
It's not like you've forgotten how to do the same thing next week and you need to redo, right? If you need to redo the same thing every week, something is not working there.
Yes.
The reflection definitely is missing. And wow, that's first tip. Okay, what about the second tip?
So the second tip, okay. then the second one is actually we also write on the first tip, and then we ask them, so how can you do a bit different? That is actually also always asked, how can you do it different? Because you cannot do the same thing, expect another results, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very important. Then there is actually one phase recently I keep talking is there's a in tech, we're talking garbage in and garbage out. Yeah. And so I will just ask them, okay, while you're doing the work, what exactly are you inputting into your stuff? You cannot expect you input the garbage and you export some jam. Hello. Yeah. So that means that the preparation work is very important.
Oh yes, preparation
so
work.
I always ask them, what is the preparation? Who are you calling? Why you are calling? Think clearly. So that is a one word in our APAC team. And this year we all need to remember is think.
Think before you act, right? Yes. Have some time to do preparation. We mentioned that preparation is really, really important. Especially when you needed to, call someone important, have a meeting with someone which is important, or maybe close that sales, which is a very important step. And imagine you go in only preparing, a set of questions, or maybe only thinking that the way that I'm going to present my PowerPoint will work. right? But there is also other elements that you need to prepare. So what other things that you ask them to prepare besides thinking, right? Like how to do the alignment. Yeah.
So by default, they should align with the doing. But along the way is always like what I mentioned, a few tips, and then we'll say, okay, again, back to what's the objective? So this is the objective. Why is that important to you? You cannot just tell me and say, oh yeah, it's important to me because it's my target for this year. Don't tell me this type of bullshit. It's your job.
It's your job, yes, but it's common sense. Who doesn't know that?
Yeah, exactly. So
you're telling me things that everyone should know. Like, okay, why is it important to you?
Yes. Then there is come to the part, then think about yourself. Why do you want to do that? So for example, I have a staff, she has 2 dogs. It's just like her baby. Okay, think about that. You need to then so you have better life for your dog. Then it can be a reason as well.
Yeah, that is actually the key motivator factor. Think about the dog and then move you forward itself, right? I think the reasons why you are so successful in your role today is also that you care a lot about your family.
Yes.
Yeah. And I want to work so that I can have all the capacity and ability to spend time with my family.
Yes.
Yeah. It's also true for a lot of people that you work because you want something else out of it. Yeah. And you do sales because you also want something out of it. And is there any third tip over here? Or that's it?
More or less is like that. Yeah. Oh, and one more is I know a lot of people, they were talking busy is a good thing, hardworking is a good thing. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan for that.
Okay. Well, business is a good thing.
No, busy.
Busy is a good thing. Hardworking is a good thing. And she's not a fan for that.
Yeah, and I want to declare I'm a workaholic. Very hardworking. So a lot of time while we are thinking about busy is good and hardworking is good, it's just like I think you have this cleaning robot in your home. Your cleaning robot is very hardworking. You set the timer. Okay, this time will come out. Really hardworking, very busy. But does your robot think about why they're doing the thing? Not really. So a lot of time we will trap into this thing and say, oh, I make more calls, so I will have more customer. Oh yeah, you're very busy, you are very happy. But do you ever think about that? So you tie back to the what I mentioned.
Which is the first step. Reflect, think and reflect.
Yeah, think and reflect, and then while you think and then you visualize the thing, and then you will just, oh yeah, this is something I truly desire, I want to achieve that. Naturally, you will think about the proper action you want to do that. You won't say, I want to achieve a target. Okay, let's watch a Netflix. Another Netflix. Another Netflix. You won't do that because while you visualize that and I want to do, okay, yeah, this time to call. Okay, in order to, I cannot call this small client. I need to call this big client.
So that is a pivot point for decision making on what's working, what's not working. So that's why the reflection steps that you mentioned earlier on, I find it super important. And in life as well, it's super important for you to reflect what is working, what is not working. And without a stock check of things like that, probably on a piece of paper, that is visually visible and you can really touch your paper that, hey, I write down something that is not working, that will become a decision point for you to make. Do I continue or do I change? Right? Yeah. And without having an evidence of things, which is your past experience, it's hard for us to, have a stock check. Like I've seen so many people like keep on sitting down there, why is it not working? Why is it not working? Why is it not working? But I'm like, what is not working? Write that thing down on a piece of paper and then you figure it out looking at it, right? That's a step one. It's so important to reflect back. Just now you mentioned about the cleaning robot, and I tell you a joke, I don't buy cleaning robot because it eats the Lego on the floor. And that is not going to be efficient for me and effective. I need to figure out how to dig out the Lego from a bunch of, dust. Yeah. Wow, that's so nice. And Lucy, I know that recently there's a new team member join your team, and it's inspiring to me earlier on when we spoken about this. He's in his 50 years old. Started his new career in sales. And you shared with me something that he sees in you. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I have this new teammate. He's with the organization for the past 10 years already, always in the operation, customer service end. Recently, we got him into our team and he was super excited. And what he say is, yeah, I'm very happy to work with Lucy because I'm very inspired by your energy. At the same time, is I really spend time to talk to him, to give him feedback, and I listen. And the first thing I always told him is, like, with me, you are safe. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to worry about mistake. There's no right or wrong in sales world. Of course, there's some, but there is not right or wrong in front of me. There is how can we make it better and better. So with that, actually, yeah, in the beginning, while he just joined like last week, and the second day of January, he was like still very worried and then panicky. Until yesterday, I can see the way he do the sales pitching is actually improving along the way. It's not like perfect or it's not like a normal season sales to be very good, but at his age, and then with the thing he's been doing in the past 10 years, I need to tell him and say, throw all of them away. And he was, wow, okay. And then I asked him, how do you think? Yeah, totally different. Another world. Yeah, let's make it happen in 3 months. I want to see whatever thing we want to achieve. And he actually was really on the ball, and then he really tried his best, very open to all the feedback.
Wow.
Yeah, and I can tell it just like really in this like less than 10 days. He's a progress on that. So
Wow.
we will see how is that along the way, and we will support him.
Now
with
it's
the
at the very
structure.
beginning stage
the
itself,
very
right? And by you sharing that, it reminds me of your very first tip, the attitude.
Yes.
The attitude is very important, and the way that you actually share with him the attitude that he needs to have is not by telling him you need to be this, you need to be that, you need to be this, da, 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 da. Get all the checklists done, then you'll be fine. It's, the world doesn't work that way, because when Lucy actually got him on board and she gave him a lot of space to explore. Yeah. And for those seasoned sales managers, maybe you want to take a look at how you have been able to open up the hearts of your team members so that they are allowing you to also help them, right? So it's actually a two-way thing.
Yes.
That is also part of the leadership we're talking about. We don't really boss people anymore,
Yes.
and we want them to give them a space to explore. And it's a reciprocal. The person must be responding back,
Yes.
so that we know what needs to be done together.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that I want you to do that, therefore you have to follow my way.
Yeah.
Right, so Lucy has a very different way of approaching this, and the key word that Lucy mentioned just now was listening. How much have you been listening? And she's really a good listener. I can tell that. Yes, and yeah, I'm glad that you bring all this, quality to work itself.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's next year for you in how to make the workplace fun again?
Next, I definitely want to make the team that comes in and they will have the proper onboarding process, including the personal element. I really want to put that in. Next is I actually want to have more interactive with the people, because my teams actually they are spread across the APAC, not only in Singapore. So some of them they are remote. So that is a part I would like to make sure they feel inclusive. They're not excluded. And at the same time, for those that they are in the same country, how they can actually buddy up with the partner or all this.
So there's many ideas that's happening. Let's talk a little bit about what are the things that you would like to achieve before the next session that we meet you here again. In pertaining to your work, your role as a leader, your role as a coach to your teammates, and probably your role as a salesperson to get the numbers in what area, so that you can really spark lives in workplace.
Yeah. So in the next session, like in a couple of weeks later, it's fast. I have the framework in terms of onboarding. We've been talking about that, but in order for me to really complete that, I do need some time to put it in, because if just talking about general sales onboarding, I have those templates, but add in the very personal element for personal growth, that is something I do need to think. I even have a list of books that I would like them to read. That is a bit weird and different from normal.
Okay, let's be a little bit more specific. So you talk about onboarding process, right? Onboarding process, not hard to get right? Internet, whatever, or get it from HR. You have a kind of like a templatized onboarding process. But what are the things that you want to inject in it so that it make a different learning experience for your new team members? Yeah. So what are the different elements that you want to inject in it beyond just ideas? Yeah.
I want to inject one thing just now mentioned, inclusive.
Inclusive.
Inclusive is very important.
Okay. How does inclusive look like? So let's build on this point. Yeah.
Okay.
So how does inclusive look like in your onboarding process?
So the person, it can be involved in some of the day-to-day or even weekly operation.
Okay.
So they will know, oh yeah, that is what's happening in the organization, at least for the APAC team. They know what's going on. And from there, they can also open to maybe give some of their feedback. Because for us, my company in Singapore is still in the early stage comparatively. We are always open for changes or maybe feedback. So the new joiner, they actually can spark or inject more new energy for us. And in order for them to feel inclusive, then definitely they can actually provide more feedback. At the same time, we want to bring them along on what we are already doing. Then they can join. For sales, very easy in terms of sales meeting, all this.
So you want to kind of inclusive looks like I will include you in the discussion sessions, right? It's more like is it a very conscious effort to put them in, or is it like a, by the way, you're part of the team, you gotta get in?
Yeah, you need to be you need to be putting in conscious effort.
Okay.
I cannot just say, oh, by the way, this because
because you're in the team, you should join this meeting. You know what? It's very common that we all get CC in the email, and then you wonder, why should I go for this meeting?
Yes, exactly. So you need to be a conscious effort. That also at the same time, it means that every time I need to brief the person, you actually take a lot of effort.
So effort from your end. Okay, basically as a okay, so it's a two-way thing. Leadership is a two-way thing. And basically as a leader perspective, what do I need to do to brief my team, and what they need to do when I brief them? So it's actually a two-way thing. So you are providing a guidance in your onboarding process as an inclusive way of being a good team members. Is that how it looks like? Okay.
And separately, because we also have some old bird in the team.
Old birds. So more experienced people.
Yeah, the experienced people. So also is a chance for them to step up, at least maybe to be the mentor or the buddy. Because a lot of time by default, we think we can be the leaders.
By default, yes. After you got promoted, suddenly, no, what should I need to do? I got a team like, my boss actually expect me differently.
So we can't wait until that point. So that is also a good chance for those experienced salespeople in the team. They can start to learn, how can you lead someone or be a mentor? And it means, again, I need to give a feedback and say, as a mentor, as a leader, how can you actually say, you cannot just keep challenging a person without feedback. It is not working in this way.
Okay.
So it's also a way for me to learn how to be a better leader as well.
Right. Yeah. So you are leading others to lead others. So it's more like a trainer kind of model here. And you provide that framework in part of your onboarding process. Okay. So how are you executing this to make it a reality for your team in the next 2 weeks?
So in the currency, we have one joiner. And then in the upcoming 2 weeks, I think we will have another one is coming in. So the structure definitely, the time need to be there already. And I intend to actually also put in, again, feedback. We have some reflection or feedback element inside to understand where the person is at while they started joining, and make it more like all-rounded instead of just one way you just follow the step.
Right. So just have a pause over here a little bit. So what Lucy is actually sharing here is a very small element, part of a very small process in her role in the big organization, which like have a tons of processes, and it matters. So what I got her to share is to go down to the minute point to really understand, what should I do, and what should you do, and what should the whole team do, so that we can get the result collectively as a company. So it is not about big plans. It is not about, we have to initiate a project and stuff like that. So she's doing some minor things, but can propel into something big here, right? So Lucy, what are the key challenges that you will see in this 2 weeks here of implementing that inclusive work into the onboarding process?
I would say the main challenge is really on my own time because I also have a business trip coming. Actually, this Sunday I'm flying. That is the first thing. So in terms of the time, how can I actually manage my time? And secondly is for some of the colleagues that have been working there, they might not get used to this new thing because that is even though it's a small
cross-cultural, it's a cross-cultural thing because your offices are in different regions. So it's about perceptions, cultures, and differences and opinionated things like we should do it that way, we should do it this way. So your challenge is to get the idea through to others as well, including your new onboarding stuff. Okay. So, well, I'll be excited to see what happened after you implement that. And so, how do you plan to work around the challenge? Let's look at possibility a little bit.
One thing is I also need my stakeholder. Some of the stakeholder is my manager. This idea is actually cooking in my mind for a while already. And I actually haven't properly sit down with my manager to share this with him. So that is also something I need to get his buy-in because again, organization eventually is we want to get the revenue. So we also couldn't take in a lot of time from people. So it's
balancing, right?
So it's a balancing. So I do need to think about a way how to make sure that we deliver the number at the same time. My manager is comfortable with this.
Because like what you mentioned, these are the foundation that make that sales objective works. Without a foundation, you can climb the sales number, but you will never figure out, what's going on. So that goes back to that review method that you mentioned, right? So it's a well-rounded process. It's just that a lot of places doesn't take a look at the people attitude, people behavior, and people mindset and behave and also preferences into the process itself that people are building. So that's why a lot of people actually not getting the success at that stage one, basically. So this is at least what I'm seeing. All right. So you know what to do in the next 2 weeks over here? Are you excited doing that?
Yeah, I'm nervous as well.
Okay, let's get you into that movement a little bit. So remember we did the movement earlier on about, how to get things done. And when you get into the movement and you sense that kind of things in you, and then you go like, oh my God, I actually remember I'm a dancer. Right? So now I give you a choice in terms of like, what is that body posture or movement or that will help you to charge up yourself to move forward into getting your manager buy-in, getting the team members buy-in as well into implementing the process.
The posture.
Let's have you stand up.
Okay.
Otherwise, then we can't. We can't be sitting down there and expect things to move.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So, think about the onboarding process. Think about getting buy-in from people. Think about how important this part will lead you to help more people. Think about having a great time at work allows you to also have time with your family too.
Okay. I do have a pose. Mine is like this.
Okay. Let's have you get in that a little bit. I'm not going to do this with you.
Okay.
And just get into that and think about what this symbolizes for you.
It's very comfortable and it's very full of love.
What else?
I can see harmony. And joy. So it's quite a lot of positive and uplifting vibes are coming. But it's not like messy or exciting, but it's just a very peacefully uplifting
positive, love, joy. Those are the qualities that you mentioned. Are you excited to see your manager and also to share this idea with?
Yes, excited.
Excited must be like, yes. I'm so glad that you got this, and then looking forward for Lucy's in the next 2 weeks time when we come back with her.
Okay.
And I'm also looking forward to hear the progress of this as a very small part, but it's a very important steps. And if you ever have an important steps in your life, do take an action on it, because movement sparks life, and that's where you get Rising as well. So thank you so much for watching Rising with Charlene over here, and and we'll see you in the next episode. All right, thank you, Lucy.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.